Well, hey everybody. What we're going to do today is keep doing a silly little hobby I started doing. I'm not going to say I've done a ton of these, but done a few, and they're fun to make. So we're going to build a spoon out of wood. So there's a spoon in this wood, and we have to cut everything that's not spoon. I can't remember whose quote that was, but I stole it. So first thing what we did is we took a blank. This is hickory, and this is this was cut probably about a month ago, and so I'll try to. This was the end that had been cut by the chainsaw, and you see some cracks and some things. So I went ahead and I cut it again with the chop saw, so it's all smooth. Most woodworking you want to do with dry wood. Spoon carving you want to do with green wood as much as possible. So step one, like I said, is we cut this, and then I'm just going to rough it off with the axe, maybe. So we're just gonna take some stuff off of there. Of course, we're not really interested in cutting our leg off, so we're keeping the work away from us. And also, since I'm on a concrete floor in a weird shop, I got this piece of board here. So we'll just we'll keep going like this, so you get the general idea where we're just getting down to a workable piece, and then I'll come back. Okay, so not only did we shave the bark off the outside, but we went ahead and split it down into a few different pieces. And something that I saw, maybe it's so you have a natural divot here, so we'll just keep that going. That will be the concave area of the spoon. I'll probably make the handle up this way, and then we'll just keep cutting and cutting down until we get what we want. So tools we use would be, of course, we use the axe already. Probably use mostly that, and probably a little bit of a hand saw just to cut across the grain for a stop. So when you split down the grain, you don't want it to go. If you don't want it to go all the way to the end, you cut a stop line across, and then it will hold the grain. Pocket knife, and then that spoon knife that I built out of the wrench. So we'll see how that works. I've been sharpening it with the stones. So anyhow, we'll see how that works. Okay, so obviously I'm not an artist, but this is the rough outline. Just gives me something to go on, tells me what to take off and what to leave. So we will start getting after that. So here, might not be showing up very well, but you see that this is so the only hand saw I could find was a coping saw, which is fine, but we're going to cut down across the grain, and that way that when we split off this part, we don't keep the split running down with the grain. So make these cuts on either side of the handle, and then we'll just take the hatchet and chop down. So, there's not a lot of room in here. Alright, so this is the concave portion. This is the, what do they call that, spoon knife I built out of a $2 wrench, and this was fun. Sharpened it up with the stone today, and what we're going to do is try to cut out the concave portion without cutting ourselves in the process. So the challenge with the inside of the spoon is getting this hollowed out part with any kind of control. They do make spoon knives. They don't cost a lot, but I wanted to see if I could make my own, and so far it's working. It's probably not perfect, doesn't need to be, but I have not that I doubted it, but I have this proof now that that your homemade spoon knife will work. And this is just the roughing out portion. We just want to get the basic shape. We'll come back later, obviously, do a lot more cleaning up. But I'm happy to see this because when I had this the other day and I was just tinkering with it when I was building it, I didn't have any green wood split. And I was trying to use dry wood, and it was a challenge. So I was getting a little bit discouraged. But seeing how this works on green wood, and hickory's pretty tough, I'm pretty encouraged. So we'll just keep working through until we get to a spot where I think it's good enough, and then we'll do the handle and the outer shape as well. Okay, we're gonna back off the concave of the spoon for a minute, and we're gonna go back to the draw knife that we used. And this is work you could probably do with the hatchet, and if you don't have a draw knife, you could use a pocket knife. But just wanted to get some of the back smoothed off a little bit. Nothing critical here. Again, this is all rough work. But we're just going to take some pieces off as we go, because I kind of want to see what the spoon wants to be. It's a little bit fat on this side. I want it to be a little bit more like this side, so I got to see if I'm going to take it off the back or the front, and then we'll just keep going like that. But draw knife or pocket knife or hatchet, if you're that confident, can do this smoothing out part on the back. Alright, so we did a little draw knife on the handle. It's not near finished, but it's probably about half finished. And then you saw the draw knife on the back. I do want to keep working until I get this out. This is the center of the log when it was a tree still. There's one little knot here. We're not going to worry too much about that one, but we do want to get this out because its composition is dramatically different than the wood around it. Off camera, I chopped down the corners here and here, chopped off the cheek here and a little bit here. You see this from the saw cut and that from the saw cut. Of course, we're not going to leave that, but we're going to use our pocket knife for that, and just really focus on not cutting ourselves, and B, just going nice and easy. If you've got more confidence than me in your hatchet or your draw knife, this is work that tool could do. But since it's pretty fine and I don't want to go too far, we're just going to use the pocket knife. So along those lines, if you do make a mistake, don't worry about it. Just keep going. If you went too far, then you got firewood. Just like anything else in the wood shop, even when you make a mistake, you're still making something. So we're just going to keep working this down. Again, focusing on not cutting ourselves. And soon, I've got to make a decision here on the spoon. If you see, that's kind of straight on best I can do. Look, this end's higher, so probably what we'll do is we'll come straight down and end up cutting this portion flush with the near edge to you. But I want to wait and see. I don't want to cut too much too soon. So that's what we're doing. Just keep working on it and whittling it down. So knocking down the high side of the spoon end and getting the handle a little bit. So just tuning it up a little bit. So I'll try to show you here what I found to be a useful technique with the spoon knife, and that's to just work it down against the grain or with the grain, and just keep rocking it. And it's almost kind of reminds me of like a ice cream spoon, where you, of course I was doing much better before I started filming it, of course, but you just keep working it, and you don't get chips as much as you get something like that. So we're just working on thinning out the bowl of the spoon, and we'll keep doing that until we think it's close enough. And then I don't want to go too thin, but it's okay now. But we're just going to keep working on digging it out. Okay, so I didn't do a lot of filming while I was just whittling it down and things, but you see there, got it hollowed out. It's rough. Got a kind of a taper going to the head of the spoon and a taper going to the end of the handle. So I think I like where it's at. What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to sand it by hand. But that was taking a piece of hickory from a round tree trunk part to a spoon that you can use. I don't know what I use it for. Anyway, while we're all shut in the house for a while, this was a fun project, and you don't have to have all the tools I had. Honestly, there's a lot of different ways you could have done this, but the hatchet and the pocket knife were probably the most essential. The spoon knife worked good, the draw knife was handy, but you can do this with what you got where you're at. So I hope this gives you confidence to try this project, and I hope you found this useful.